In the bustling heart of New York City, where life never pauses and dreams often drown in the noise, lived a young man named Ryan Brooks. On the surface, Ryan seemed like every other 26-year-old, coffee-addicted, overworked, and perpetually late. But underneath, he was a man tormented by potential. He had dreams, massive, burning dreams, but no time to chase them. Every night, he promised himself, "Tomorrow, I'll wake up early. I'll work on my goals. I'll start changing my life." And every morning, his alarm would buzz at 5 a.m., only to be silenced by a weary hand. Another promise broken. Ryan wasn't lazy. He was lost, caught in a web of exhaustion, comparison, and self-doubt. His job as a junior analyst at a hedge fund paid well, but it drained his soul. His real dream was to become a writer, an author whose words would move the world. But each evening, he returned home too tired to write even a paragraph. He blamed the city, the job, the noise, everything but himself. That was until the morning everything changed. It was a cold Monday morning in November. Ryan, late as usual, rushed into the subway, eyes half open, scarf barely wrapped around his neck. As the train rattled into the station, his eyes caught something unusual. An old man, sitting cross-legged on a bench, sipping tea from a thermos. He looked calm, out of place amid the frantic chaos. The man noticed Ryan staring and smiled. "Running late again, son?" he asked. Ryan blinked. "Yeah, story of my life." The man chuckled. "Want to hear a story that might change yours?" Ryan, curious and strangely drawn to the man's calm presence, nodded. The man patted the bench beside him. "Sit. The next train's in 10 minutes. The old man began. Far away, in the quiet valleys of India, lived a boy named Arjun. He was 15, skinny, and often sick. His family was poor, and the village was small, so small that the sun seemed to rise slower there. Arjun had one dream: to become a doctor and heal his village, where people still died from curable diseases. But the odds were against him. His school lacked books, electricity was rare, and most boys his age were expected to work in the fields. Every evening, after helping his father farm, Arjun would light a candle and try to study, his eyelids heavy, the night cold. One night, he fell asleep with his books open, and in his dream, he met an old monk. The monk looked at him with eyes that saw right through him and said, "Arjun, if you want to change your life, change your mornings. The world belongs to those who see the sun first." When Arjun awoke, he remembered the monk's words and made a decision. He would wake up every day at 4 a.m., no matter what. Waking up early wasn't easy, the old man continued. He'd hear his friends laughing late into the night, celebrating weddings and festivals. But while they danced, Arjun prepared for sleep. While they slept, Arjun studied. At first it hurt. His body protested. His mind resisted. But then magic happened. In the stillness of the early morning, when even the birds hadn't begun to sing, he found something rare: clarity. The world was quiet, and his thoughts were loud. There were no distractions, no expectations, just him and his purpose. Years passed. Arjun became the only student from his village to pass the national medical exam. He was accepted into the most prestigious medical school in India. Today, he's not only a doctor, he's built 5 rural hospitals and trains others to do the same. Ryan sat frozen. Arjun changed his life not by doing more, the old man whispered, but by doing what mattered before the world woke up. The train arrived, but Ryan didn't board. "Who was Arjun?" he asked. The man stood up, smiled again, and handed Ryan his empty thermos. On the bottom was etched, "Dar Meta." Ryan looked up, stunned. The old man winked and stepped onto the train. As it pulled away, Ryan sat speechless. That night, Ryan set his alarm for 5 a.m. But this time, it wasn't a hope. It was a commitment. And the next morning, when the alarm rang, something stirred in him. He sat up, not because he felt ready, but because he remembered the words, "Change your mornings. The world belongs to those who see the sun first." The first week was brutal. Ryan dragged himself out of bed, groggy and grumbling. But he kept his promise. He didn't reach for his phone. Instead, he sat at his tiny kitchen table, opened a notebook, and began to write. 1 page turned into 2. 2 pages became 10. Within a month, he had written the first draft of a short story collection, something he had put off for years. Waking early gave him more than time. It gave him ownership of his day. The mornings became his sacred space. While the world was asleep, he found his voice. He replaced late-night shows with early sleep, parties with solitude, and distractions with purpose. His confidence grew. His writing sharpened. He submitted his first story to a literary magazine. 3 months later, it was published. The early mornings began to ripple into every area of Ryan's life. He arrived at work early, organized, and less stressed. His boss noticed. Promotions followed. He began running in the mornings too. Just a few blocks at first, then miles. His body, once sluggish, now thrived with energy. Friends asked what had changed. He simply smiled and said, "Mornings." Eventually, he started a blog titled Rise Before the Sun, chronicling his journey and helping others break free from the chains of late starts. Within a year, he had thousands of readers. His story, once silenced by snooze buttons, now woke up others around the world. 1 year to the day after meeting Dr. Meta, Ryan returned to that same subway station. He arrived early, just as the sun peeked over the skyline. And there he was, the old man, same bench, same thermos. Ryan approached and smiled. "Good morning, doctor." Dr. Meta looked up and beamed. "Early today, aren't we?" Ryan nodded. "You changed my life." The old man laughed gently. "No, son, you did. I only reminded you of your power." Before Ryan left, he asked one final question. "Why did you tell me that story?" Dr. Meta replied, "Because someone once told it to me. When I was your age, lost and chasing sleep, an old monk told me to wake up and claim my mornings. I did, and now I pass it on." Ryan understood. The secret to waking up early wasn't in an alarm clock or a productivity hack. It was in realizing that every morning holds the quiet power to rebuild a life. So now, when the world is dark and most still sleep, Ryan wakes. He writes, he dreams, and he lives because he knows the why.